Hello and welcome. I hope that you are all doing well. Welcome to our first October book video. And since last week was a short week, I read a short book. But it was a really good book. And since October is spooky season, I am focusing on books that are set in autumn or cozy, or thrillers, or mysteries, or classic mysteries, or horror or fiction with horror elements, or fairy tale retellings, or autumnal graphic novels. This week, my book was Thornhedge by Kingfisher, and I've really grown to love this author's work this year. Early in the year, I read some of the books this author has written, and now I'm reading as many as I can. Thornhedge is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, so I was quite excited to read it. And the author takes a different view of the story. In it, there is a reason why Sleeping Beauty is put to sleep. And I'm not going to go too much in depth here, so it's going to be short and sweet. Toadling is the main character, and as a baby, she was kidnapped and taken to the fairy world. Now, as an adult, Toadling is sent back to the human world to do something only she can do: offer a blessing to a newborn child. 200 years later, a knight has heard the story of a towering wall of brambles and a sleeping princess in a tower, and he arrives to break the curse. Neither Toadling nor the knight are perfect. They're both flawed, but the book is atmospheric, and you will be immersed in this creepy and cozy world. So what can you read for a similar experience? Kingfisher has written several books, and I'm going to mention a couple of them here. You'll notice that these are not the conventional covers for these books, so we don't have copies in our branch of the library system. I could not get them in fast enough for this video, so I've got pictures on covers of a book. And each of these books is pretty short. They're basically novellas. What Moves the Dead is a retelling of the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Fall of the House of Usher. Retired soldier Alec Easton gets a letter from childhood friend Madeline Usher. Madeline is very sick. Her brother believes she's dying, and Easton rushes to be by Madeline's side. Upon arrival, everything is in disrepair: the house, Madeline, and Roderick. Madeline is pale with nearly translucent skin, feverish eyes, and deathly cold skin. Easton is surprised by the appearance of Roderick as well, and the decayed state of the house and the lands. Angus, who was Easton's Batman in the war, has learned from the villagers that they stay far away from Usher House. And they don't hunt on the land there either, because the animals act very strangely. There are others visiting in the area, and Easton realizes the villagers are right to be wary of the Ushers and the Usher House. Easton needs to unravel the secrets of the Usher House before it destroys them. Next up, A Sorceress Comes to Call. It's a retelling of the fairy tale The Goose Girl. Cordelia lives with her mother Evangeline, who is a sorceress. Whenever Evangeline is annoyed with Cordelia, she takes over control of Cordelia's body, so Cordelia must do exactly what she commands. Cordelia's only friend is the family horse Fidlata. And with no one else to talk to, Cordelia pours out her heart to Fidlata, including all of her hopes and all of her dreams. Evangeline wants to marry a wealthy man, Squire Chatham, and she gets him to invite herself and Cordelia to stay at his estate. His sister Hester also lives at the estate, and she is very suspicious of Evangeline and tries to intervene to prevent her brother from proposing. Hester believes that Evangeline is mistreating Cordelia and befriends Cordelia. A Sorceress Comes to Call takes inspiration from Regency romances and Gothic horror. Nettle and Bone, also by T. Kingfisher, is a dark fairy tale that feels surprisingly cozy. It's the story of Mara and her sisters. And I've recently talked about this book, so I won't go into detail here. I'll link the video below if I remember to, so you can check it out. If you are a teen reader and you want a YA book that is similar to Thornhedge, I've got a few for you. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. Alice and her mother have stayed away from her grandmother's estate and the grandmother pretty much all of Alice's life. Her grandmother is the author of a book of dark fairy tales, The Hinterland. But when Alice's grandmother dies and her mother is taken by a character from one of those fairy tales, Alice sets out to find her mother and may need to go to the one place her mother told her to avoid at all costs, the Hazelwood. Another option is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I've talked about this recently, so I won't go into too much detail about it now. And the final book I have to recommend is one I haven't yet read, but it is on my list to be read, and it is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. From what I understand, it takes place in a small town, Amity Falls, where the early townsfolk fought off devils from the woods. Visitors to this community are rare. A tribe of mystical creatures promises to grant the residents their deepest desires, no matter what, all in exchange for one small favor. Their true intentions are much more sinister than the community realizes, and the main character, Ellery, is in a race against time to save Amity Falls, her family, and her friend. I believe that is all for today. I will be back next week when we're jumping into the horror element area of our reading for the month. And I have Vanishing Daughters, which takes place in Chicagoland. And I've already started reading. So far it's been pretty good. Ever since Briar Thorn's mother died, she has been plagued by hearing sounds in her house that nobody else hears and nightmares of a woman in white. Are these manifestations of grief, or are they related to the ghostly impossibilities her mother believed in? We'll find out next week when I return. I hope that you will join me then, and until then, I hope that you enjoy all that you do and all that you read. And thank you.